Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 2, Episode 48, where we watch The Mole, Season 1, Episode 2. And I'm Chris Lorenz.
Robert Kitts.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Max, a.k.a. Young Vanderbilt.
This is James.
I'm Harrison Hoffman.
And that's a show.
This is one of my all-time favorite reality shows. Leading with that.
It's so good.
All right, so let's catch everyone up. Harrison, you got the description for us?
The hit reality series features loads of mystery, adventure, and fun. 10 players are involved, working as a team to complete a series of difficult physical and psychological tests. Each test is worth a set amount of money, and the more tests the team completes, the more money the winner takes home. One of the players, however, is a mole or saboteur, whose goal it is to foil the efforts of the other 13 players without revealing his or her identity. At the end of each episode, the group is given a quiz on the mole's identity. The player who knows the least information about the mole is then sent immediately home. In the final dramatic episode, the mole is revealed, and the one remaining player wins the jackpot up to $1 million. That's The Mole.
That was wins the award
That's
for most detailed description of a show I think I've ever heard.
It
of.
is
Probably the best description
It's
we've read.
right to the point. It was written by the game designer, not the marketing department.
Right.
And I wonder if it's because we're reading this off the DVD box instead of off a website. If that kind of helps, like we gotta give you enough that you're actually going to buy this DVD.
I don't know if I want to go on the side tangent now or later, but the fact that this is out on DVD is like way different than any other reality show. Like, I don't even think they released reality shows on DVD anymore.
There's got to be like Bachelor on DVD.
This
I
is
don't
also
think
It's a pretty
Free
old
money.
reality show. So this is pre-Netflix reality show.
So this season was in 2001.
Oh, baby.
So this is like the first post-Survivor show that was trying to capitalize on that. And so there have been 3 seasons with normal people and 2 celebrity seasons. So funny thing, you can get season 1 on DVD. You can get season 1 celebrity on DVD. You can't get any other seasons on DVD.
Okay.
That's because then Netflix came out, or like what happened?
No, because it
No
just
one
doesn't
bought
make
them.
sense.
It's just it's like why are we doing this?
Not
Hence
enough demand.
why I was having a side tangent about DVDs and reality shows. Because I don't think that they ever released them on...
It's not
Like, there's no 30 seasons of The Challenge on DVD. Like,
Yeah,
that doesn't exist.
Oh,
That
man, that'd be
30
the-
season box, that would be really nice, though.
They at least got to do it for the trilogy, right?
Oh yeah, they have to do the trilogy.
Easy.
Okay.
They're not going to.
They're not going to do the. No, they're gonna.
Well, this was before they were trying to monetize their streaming services. They don't want you to buy the DVD. They want you to keep paying for MTV.
For sure.
But
All
like,
right.
when I found out in 2005 that season 1 of The Mole was on DVD, I was very excited. And then this was like I guess Amazon was around, but like this was pre when I would like buy things on Amazon. It's like I had to try to figure out where I could go to find this freaking DVD.
Where did you get this DVD?
I think it was a store in Canada called HMV.
HMD.
V.
Interesting. Oh, HMV.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So this thing has been smuggled across the border to make it to our living room in the U.S.
I don't think it was smuggled. I think it was declared.
Oh well, you know.
In like DVDs, plural.
Like, do you have anything to declare? I got this DVD of the mole.
It's my only possession.
I just want to see you explain to the Border Patrol.
All right.
Well, one last thing on the description. So I don't know if you noticed, but like the description at one point says the mole's trying to trick the other 13, even though there's only 9 other people.
Oh.
But season 2 had 14 people.
Oh.
So someone screwed up the copy editing.
But-
Oh, man.
But season 2 never came out on DVD.
You are correct.
Doesn't make any sense.
Somebody
is-
went on Wikipedia.
That is very weird. All right, Rob, what is this show?
So this show, on one level, is just kind of like a challenge show where they're doing sort of different competitions and you kind of get to follow them. But like it tries to do an air of it's like a more intellectual show. So like there's like a spy motif they try to go with, and they try to make the challenges kind of weird and quirky in ways. And they're in Europe, and so they're going like in this episode they're like, here are some Cartier watches, and we need you to figure out which Cartier watch is the real watch. So it's trying to give like this air of sophistication to it. And then there's also a mystery aspect to it, that one of the players is not doing the normal competition. They've been paid by the producers to be the mole, but because everyone knows that, if you are not the mole, you need to kind of try to be suspicious. And if you are the mole, you can't be suspicious all the time. So everyone's kind of suspicious all the time. And so it's kind of fun to play around and figure out what's going on.
All right. So I'll try to remember everything that happens in this episode. So
Are we getting into the minutia?
not yet. We got to go over what happens throughout the episode. Then we get into the minutia.
Oh, okay.
These new segments we're going through. So the show starts out with a challenge where somebody gets kidnapped, right?
Steven gets
kidnapped.
You already skipped the best part. Some guys in stupid like ski masks, like
Balaclavas.
We're getting into the
Balaclava.
minutia later, Max. It doesn't really matter.
Fine.
Actually, I'm going to cut off. We have skipped the best part. Who's the host of this show?
Oh, yes, he's very right.
Max, give it to us.
Young Vanderbilt,
AKA?
aka Anderson Cooper,
The Coop.
aka the CNN Slayer,
AC360.
So, yeah.
aka 360 No Scope.
That's it. Anderson
aka Anderson Cooper 420.
I think Chris is loving how off the rails we are on this.
Max, you
right
got any more?
I'm good.
So yeah, Anderson Cooper, the lead anchor on CNN, used to host a reality show.
now. I can't believe it.
And so, true story, sometime, I don't know when this happened, my dad likes to put on CNN. So CNN is on, and then I'm just on, and I go, Mom, it's that guy from The Mole. He's on CNN.
So where does this fit in? Is this when Anderson Cooper is already on CNN, or is
No.
this pre? So
this is years before
This
CNN.
is somewhere in between when he's like a war zone reporter and when he's on CNN.
Yes.
He hosted The Mole.
So
I mean,
think
if this is 2001, then it's pre-war.
Well, different war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think he was in the ABC news department. He was like working his way up in like news organizations. And then ABC was like, we got to find someone to host this new kind of show we're doing. Hey, let's get that guy from the news department to
hey,
host it.
hey, that Cooper fellow looks good in a black turtleneck.
Yeah, pretty much. And here's the thing. He is a great host.
He's fantastic.
He's crushing it.
And he's all in on it too, which is, like it's
really
very
is.
apparent. He's all in.
Dude, this seems like a good gig for him. He's
Yeah.
just going to these awesome European countries and hanging out.
So we'll definitely talk a lot more of this when we get to the minutia.
he's
but
just on
Anderson
vacation.
Cooper
Is this not the minutia?
No, this is about who the host
this
of
is
the
the
show is.
big strokes. This is the Anderson Cooper segment.
So I used to think it was really weird that you'd go from reality TV show host to a much more, traditionally respected
Yeah,
profession.
we see where this is going, Rob.
But now it seems more not as weird as it used to.
A lot
So
more
you're telling me,
realistic.
like, what's next up for TJ?
Oh yeah,
Is he
The-
going to be
the
like
world's
host
his
of
oyster.
You
CNN?
mean Emperor TJ?
Yeah. Sorry, we're way off.
Are we done?
All right, Chris, bring it back.
Can we go through the show now?
Let's go
Or
through
do
the
we have
show.
other things that we missed, Max, that we need to talk about already?
no, Chris, go ahead.
So, as I was saying, there is a challenge. A person gets kidnapped named Steven. He gets put in an iron mask and put in I guess, some sort of castle in Monaco or right next to Monaco. Wasn't quite sure on
Cannes.
that.
he was actually in Cannes, and apparently it's the real castle where the real man in the iron mask was.
Okay, and then the other 9 people, or 8 people.
8 people.
Minutia Rob.
Minutia.
The
We're
8
staying
people
out of
have
that.
to go find him in 2 hours. 2 of them are in a helicopter, 3 of them are in a boat, and 3 of them are in a van. And they can call, but and if they find him under 2 hours, they win some amount of money.
Like,
Doesn't really
bidding.
matter. Whatever. They have to.
Minutia.
Minutia Rob.
So they go through this test. They fail. Somebody ran off at the last minute or the last 10 minutes, and they all weren't there. Essentially, is why they failed. Then the next challenge they had to split up in teams of 3. 3 people had to look at a watch, 2 watches, and determine which one was fake, which one was not fake. Some sort of Cartier watches. Then the other 6 people that night had to do some sort of corn maze. One person was leading the other person through this corn maze, but there was also 2 people trying to catch them. And if they caught them, they failed the challenge, and if they completed, they got out of the maze, they would have won money, and if you picked the right Cartier watch, they would win money. Spoilers, I guess we'll talk about it, but the Cartier watch people guessed the right thing. The people in the maze all got caught, and then at the end of the episode, they all voted for who gave the quiz, and Afi was the one that was eliminated.
With the lowest score on the quiz.
With the lowest score on the quiz. So this is the high strokes of the episode. Got challenge 1, challenge 2, and challenge 3. Challenge 1 being the boat, finding the person. Challenge 2 being the Cartier watch. Challenge 3 being the maze. Now on to the minutia.
Ooh.
Oh man,
The
where to
burglars.
begin? Where to begin?
Start with the burglars, Max.
Burglars. They come in with these not
Balak-
even
balaclavas.
Not even though. It's definitely just like a shitty little ski hat pulled down a little too far.
Yeah,
I don't know. And they go over a very not scary wall, and they just knock on a guy's door. And he's like, "Oh, what's up?" And then they just sort of shuttle him into a van.
I think they're like, we're kidnapping you.
Yeah.
And he just casually, very, very easily put on a mask and got in this van.
Which makes me suspicious of Steven, but the mole would be
Agreed.
better than that. So, who knows?
Seems that way. It seems like, is that a thing for the people that have watched this show? I assume people get kidnapped on the show. That's like a thing that happens.
I think this is the only time that happens.
So it's the only time it's happened. It's weird to me that the Steve character doesn't really put up much of a fight.
Why would he?
Well,
I
there's-
think he just knows that he's on a insane TV show.
I'm going to get a different thing. So I think there's a knock at his bedroom door. He opens it. There's 2 guys in masks. Then there's 2 guys with cameras behind them.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 producers behind them being like, just go with it.
Just,
go
you're
with
going to
it."
get kidnapped right now. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
There
It seems
was-
like his reaction was just like, okay, I guess I'm doing this.
I think that's what you would do too. You're in this reality show. There's cameras with these guys.
Yeah, you're not just punching. You're not just coming out swinging.
No, but in the
Maybe-
spirit of the show, you're like, I don't want to be captured.
Now
Like-
I want to rewind to last week and Jay Brew, they try to kidnap him for the show and he just starts fighting people.
Oh, Jay Brew be
Oh,
fighting.
man. Oh shit! Bro. I wanted to. When's the next episode of that show?
Tonight.
Oh,
No challenge.
No challenge.
No winter break update to this week because
Damn.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
Tuesday.
Early pod.
It's an early
pod.
pod.
I know what I'm doing later.
Yeah, there was also this awkward conversation with the one guy says that he woke up in the middle of the night and heard this guy being kidnapped, and I was like,
That was very strange.
this is very weird.
Who was that? Was that Jim?
That was Jim.
I
Jim
don't know how I
Brew.
feel about Jim.
Which one's Jim?
The one that was driving the van.
Jim's your guy with the thumb ring.
Oh, Miss Senor
Yeah.
Thumb Ring. You
that's
mean?
right.
I can't believe how many people are doing that in the world today.
It's a very 2001 move, I think.
It's unbelievable.
yeah.
Rob, I have a question for you.
Please.
So, as you watch the show, knowing who the mole is
yeah.
it a different viewing experience than not knowing the mole?
It's definitely a different viewing experience because you're seeing things through a different prism.
Is it better?
I don't know if it's better, but it's still good. It's still very interesting to watch. And now, when people are acting suspicious, you know, oh, that was actually them being suspicious. You're like, no, that was just them
Just
being weird.
Or being really bad?
Well, sometimes they're it seems like they're trying to be suspicious on purpose, and sometimes they just seem like idiots. And so you can try to figure that out because that one you never will really know.
All right. So I don't understand this challenge. Why are people in a helicopter? Why is there this boat involved? I don't get this boat situation.
So that they're just basically trying to make it overly complex to solve something that was actually not that hard to solve. And so just to make it sort of more entertaining. So they split them into these different things and they're different vehicles. But it turns out that Steven's being held on an island. So you need the helicopter or the boat to get everyone to the island. So there was some actual practical logistics part to it. But it's mostly just window dressing to try to make this thing seem fun and interesting.
How did the van people get to the island?
So they you got to really picture Cooper's throwing out all this info and you really got to so the van had to go somewhere where they could get the van people onto the boat and the boat took them all to the island.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it definitely seems like the producers were like, "Hey, do you guys have any pamphlets in that car, boat, helicopter?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, I got this island pamphlet. Oh, maybe he's on the island."
Yeah.
And then like after they were like an hour in, and
it definitely seemed like they
they
discovered the pamphlets
definitely
very
did
late. They're like,
because they were like
"Oh, yeah."
at first they went to this other like castle thing because it had like some sort of cannonballs. So you don't even
Sack of
see any
cannonballs.
cannons.
So the thing starts with Steven gets a 30-second phone call to sort of talk to them. So he talks to Jim, and one of the things he says to Jim is, "I see cannons outside." So then they're at this, it turns out, wrong place, and they see cannonballs. They're like, "Oh, cannonballs! There must be cannons. This is the place." There are no cannons.
And they're just running around this place for like an hour.
They're there so long. It's insane.
They did that helicopter dip too, and then they called Steve. They're like,
They
"We gotta
paid
call him."
5,000 out of the pot to call
Right.
Steve.
And all that call resulted in was basically Steve saying, "I can't hear you because of the helicopter."
Yeah.
And that's all they gathered. They're like, "Oh,
Even though-
he must be here because we did the helicopter."
Even though he was
dip and
actually
low."
a 30-minute drive away.
right. So that really didn't pan
This
out.
was a different helicopter.
Or
by
maybe he
him.
was saying like on the other side.
That's
of the
also
helicopter sound.
probably what he meant.
But
Oh, right.
I can't hear you because you're talking on a phone inside of a helicopter.
No, he was talking to Jim, who was not in the helicopter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the helicopter was where they were.
It was in the same city, so I don't. It's not clear how close the helicopter was to the van people, but it's definitely possible.
I think Steve might be my front runner, but it's too early to show your cards. If I were the mole, we got to talk about the metagame later.
Laying real low.
Laying real low early on, yeah.
Yeah, and then the one girl runs back to the helipad. She was on the helicopter. She was there.
Yeah,
She runs back to the helipad. As all the other people run up and are there in time, she's just gone.
yeah. So she goes to the helipad because she says she's going to bring the people on the boat up, even though the boat dock is not at the helipad. And
Which
as she's
she
walking
wasn't aware.
away, you can hear the other guy, Henry, be like, "I just got to trust her. I mean, I can see she's going the wrong way, but I got to trust her." And it's like, wait, you saw she's going the wrong way? You just let her go? What are you doing?
Henry didn't make a lot of sense.
He
in that
definitely
case.
seemed. Yeah, it seemed like he might have had a hand in that challenge being failed.
Rob,
Yeah.
is he the mole?
I'm no spoilers. We talked about this.
There's a spoiler section.
There might be a spoiler section later. but
I
I'm-
will leave the room for that.
All right.
So we know Max is in on the show.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say about Challenge 1. Any minutia to go over Challenge 1?
I do like that at the end of Challenge 1, if they failed, they're all arguing. Steven's still trapped inside in his metal mask, and no one's
He
bothering
was,
to go
seemed
let him
real
out.
annoyed.
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah, they were all yelling outside.
They're
I'm
all
sure it's
yelling, and you
echoing
hear
in that.
Steven be like, "Can someone just let me out?"
Well, he was in that mask for probably like 3-4 hours. It seemed like, or at least that's what it looked like on TV.
Like they said, the challenge was 2 hours, but
It
they also
definitely-
put a. There's also another thing, like they have a disclaimer at the end of the show. It's like, by the way, we added some extra time to a challenge.
Oh what?
Oh yeah,
Oh well, at least
and they
were
still
honest
didn't,
about
and they
it,
still
but-
lost it.
Right. Oh,
What do you think they did that with Challenge number 2? Some Cartier watch.
They might have done
challenge?
with challenge number 2, but like a good we can. This is a transition of like something in both the first challenge and the Cartier challenge that's great is Anderson Cooper's just randomly around different places they go.
The Cartier watch one was great because they're like running around the city, and he's just like every other shot, like it's just a shot of Anderson just like eating some bread, eating some panini.
Yeah, he's,
like,
he's
what?
got this baguette. He's just taking a giant bite out of his baguette, and he's like making jokes about like, "Wish you'd studied French, huh?"
So good.
when he cracked that joke, oh man,
He's sitting around a lot, and he's just like a gargoyle in one of these French cities.
Yeah, and like they have to walk in the Cartier one. They start on this hill, and they got to walk down to the city, and like. He clearly had like jumped in a car to get there, and so
Yeah.
he's just kind of sitting, lounging around when they roll in, all out of breath from walking down the hill. It's great.
It's so good.
So I mean, you probably get to this more later, but the show is very intense, and the only parts that bring any levity are Anderson Cooper and these like side vignettes.
Yeah,
Like
it seems like these guys are working pretty hard to solve the challenges.
yeah,
Right? Like there's not a lot of drama and things as
it
such.
didn't
mainly,
seem like this Cartier challenge is designed super well.
yeah,
Because like
they just couldn't
they
communicate.
you like try to figure out how they're going to solve this problem. They're like, oh, okay, we're going to go to the town and talk to people about watches. Well, everywhere they went into town to talk about people with watches, no one spoke English, so it's just like, okay, so you didn't Producers never really like thought it all the way through to feel like that make it a good challenge. I thought.
I mean, like, I'm not sure if this one in particular was amazing, but I like the idea of having a challenge that's a little bit more uncontrolled. Like, that is just like, hey, figure out a way to solve this problem in somewhere, like, using the city, like, to do it. Like, it's something that seems like Amazing Race kind of like fakes. It's like Amazing Race like sets up these situations where it's like, okay, you're gonna drag this cart through this market and find this stall or whatever. But this is literally like the places that they're going into have no idea what any of this stuff is, and they're just trying to deal with it. Like,
yeah, but they could have. I mean, they like started at a phone booth like later. They could have just started at a phone booth and just started calling people, asking them about like Cartier.
They certainly
watches.
could have.
I think that's what, to Harrison's point, what makes it kind of interesting is that, like, you have no idea which way they're going to go to solve this.
You can solve
thing.
it any way you want. Like,
Right.
it's cool.
Except the cell phone. No cell phones.
Yeah.
Well, it's also
Right.
2001, so like there's less cell phones, less internet, all that stuff. But
Right.
like this reminds me of when we did Amazing Race. We talked about how early Amazing Race was much less on rails,
For
and
sure.
that they've tried more over time to make it more like they're shuffling people down like a certain path. And this is just like so not on rails. It almost feels like it's not well designed, but it's also partly what I think is interesting about it. That like it's just so varied what they could do, and like some of the challenges don't work, and some of them kind of work, and it's kind of great. And then, you know, the most recent season they did was in 2008, where it was gone for a while. They brought it back, and I didn't think it was as good. And one of the reasons was it was definitely way more on rails, and the challenges were a lot simpler, and just wasn't as interesting.
I'm definitely a big fan of unstructured challenges like
Yeah.
that. It's just like, hey, like there's a goal, just figure out how to
Right.
get it done.
There's also a thing I like that they do a lot, where they like at the start of this, before the second challenge, there's 9 people. Anderson says, I need 3 leaders, I need 3 followers, I need 3 people with a good eye. And you just got to quickly get into groups, and then you don't know what the actual challenge is going to be. But it's kind of a fun way to just sort of, you know, get people to pair up into groups and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I kind of like that they do that all the time.
I like that.
So I mean, the Cartier watch people, they just randomly guess.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that they, you know, how the actual seconds ticked like went through was probably key indicator of which one was real and which one wasn't.
Yeah, they had some good
Like-
ideas about
like-
like, look at the second hand, look at this, look at that. And they're like, okay, let's go to town, try to confirm. And they're like, we didn't find anything in the town. Let's just go with our original guess.
Right. And like, and
Which I thought the original guess was the other watch.
yeah, I did too.
I think that was just an editing thing.
Yeah. And like, I mean, and it's 50-50 at worst. Like, I mean, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this gimmick. Did they do this? So there's this stupid gimmick where they shot the watch they said was fake.
that was great.
Do they do that a lot, or is this just like a one-off? Like,
I don't think they shoot random things, but they do try to dress up the challenges in weird ways. So this one they were like, you're gonna destroy a real Cartier watch if you pick wrong, and that's why you're gonna lose money from the pot because you got to pay for a Cartier watch.
I was okay with that. I thought that was a fun gimmick.
that was just whatever.
It seems silly. I'm with Chris on
I
this
think they
one,
were just trying to dress up how do we make the end of this dramatic, and then this was their idea.
Yeah.
or
'cause
else it's just like
just
Anderson
like-
goes, "Yep, that's right, or you're wrong."
Yeah, you got the watch right.
All right, right. So they had to do something.
I mean,
also
they could have
great-
put it on like a pedestal and like hit a button, and then one of them falls. Like, it doesn't have to be like,
Right.
Yeah, you
Super
could,
Or they could just be
dramatic.
like, "This is how you can tell a
Like-
fake one."
yeah, or just
Yeah,
tell you how.
they
you
That
should
was
have
actually
had-
what I was interested
They should have
in.
had like a master jeweler guy come and be like, yeah, okay, let me take a look at him. Well, you can see this one. They got the second hand that does like
Oh,
that would have been nice.
that would have been good.
That'd have been
I was
nice.
kind of looking for that because like I kind of was like after they spent this amount of time on it,
They
I just
spent
kind
a
of wanted
lot
to
of
like
time
learn
on
about how to tell a real one. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, these are the things I need to know about a nice.
They
This
did
watch.
spend a lot of time on this challenge. I feel like
Yeah.
mainly because they went into the city and there was a lot to show because they were in the city.
And they
It was like the
they had
other
that,
challenges
They had that
they
great
were.
Cooper footage. You can't sit on that. I also like that. Like they should have a bunch of shots of Anderson like looking at his watch, and he has like some cheap watch, and at the end he's just got both Cartiers just on his wrists.
Yeah. Now, like it was interesting because they were running back up that hill at the end to try and check in with Anderson to make the guess, but it seemed like he kind of met them part of the way down with the watches on. Like, do you think that's part of that? Like, hey, the time was extended kind of thing. There's
Well-
like, hey, they're pretty close. Let's go just meet them.
I think he just met them at the entrance to the like castle
Okay,
thing.
okay,
When
okay.
at the start they were at the top of the castle, so I think
Gotcha.
like he was at the finish line. of what it
Gotcha.
was like.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. So the next challenge happens later that night. And I thought this challenge was super hard.
Oh yeah, this
Like-
challenge was nuts.
I feel like, when you say follower, you're not expecting to be like the athletic type as the follower. And for this challenge, you really needed to be the athletic type. Or like the radio equipment wasn't working well.
I
Like it
didn't-
was very...
I didn't understand what the difficulty with this challenge was because it seemed very easy.
Well, it was just like...
no one was close.
I know no one was close. That's why I don't understand.
I
Like,
think
So-
the hard part is the guards.
So let's just like detail the challenge. So the leader has a walkie-talkie and has a TV, and at the TV there's a bird's eye view of this corn maze, and then in the corn maze there are two guards that are. It's like Pac-Man. One person has to get from one end of the maze to the other without running into the guards, and so what makes the challenge hard is those guards are moving. They are
Oh,
just
yeah.
like
Hear or see you?
hustling.
They start
no
running.
question.
And they are just like covering so much ground so quickly that like it's hard to sneak by both of them.
It just like it seemed like the failure in a lot of cases was some kind of
Like inability to listen
communication
to the
breakdown.
leader.
Like they couldn't hear each other
Well-
for some reason. Like they weren't following directions.
Was it real or was it
No.
sabotage?
No, for sure. I mean, that's definitely part of it, but like there's only one mole and like it's like every single group had these seeming audio issues. Like I don't
Well,
know.
the first
First
one
guy
just
was
seemed
okay.
like they
yeah,
didn't
the first one
know-
seemed okay.
Yeah.
They
And
didn't
then- and then the
know
next
how
two
hard
were-
this was going to be.
And then the next like in that one girl, I mean like maybe she just went silent because she didn't want to like tip the guards off because she's like, oh, I can like see their feet,
She
whatever.
just started running.
But yeah, like she stopped ignoring, like she started ignoring all the instructions though.
Just hauling ass.
Yeah.
I think that was her strategy. Was like, I'm gonna outrun the guards and just get lucky on the maze.
Yeah, I guess.
And ended up right back at the start pretty much when she
You
got caught.
definitely didn't end up running the right way. You're definitely right. But
Also-
she lasted a long time
She
running.
lasted the longest of the three.
Right.
I mean,
Pretty sure
like-
the 6-year-old guy got tackled when they caught him.
like
Yeah.
like
He definitely ate it.
like if that's your strategy, you just got to be like, I'm gonna run. Just tell me where to go.
right.
And like,
Yeah, it's like just say stuff. I hear you. Just
Yeah.
do it.
I don't know.
And there was, I can't remember what show it was, but we watched a show recently where they had these weird cameras that are on helmets that hang in front of people's faces.
Yeah.
And so I remember saying, man, I haven't seen those on like really old reality shows. They use them
Since
on the
The
mole
Mole.
all the time.
Yeah.
These ones didn't look very good, though.
They were flopping around. You had to hold your helmet.
It seemed like they needed helmets for different size heads, and they were just like, we got the biggest one, deal with it. People were definitely having to hold it on their head, or at least they were. I don't know if they had to.
Yeah. I don't know. Also, every time, like, pretty much every time one of the guards caught up with the person, they're just getting tackled, just straight tackled, and like you could see it on like they would show it like on the bird's eye camera. You can tell like that guy's got tackled into that corn, and like they don't show the actual footage of it though. Like they have
They
footage.
show the
It
overhead.
would cut away.
Yeah, but they have like the first person footage like, of the dude getting tackled. They should just get a little shot in there.
Who knows?
I
The helmet
think-
might have fallen off.
I think they're just getting tagged.
Dude,
They definitely ate it.
it
And
looked
were
like a-
rolling through the corn.
yeah, I mean like
One of them definitely just got tagged.
like one of them definitely got tagged, but there was definitely at least one that got tackled into the corn. At least that's
Okay.
what it looked like. I mean,
They had a shot of like the camera going down the corn, but it was a little too slow. It didn't look real. It was
Yeah.
like reenacted.
yeah.
That's my take. Can't trust anybody. Can't trust you.
He can't. Is the mole the producers of the show?
Yeah.
Man, are you saying that Anderson Cooper is the original purveyor of fake news?
Okay. I have a fun idea. What if nobody is the mole?
Oh, that would be
Oh.
so good.
The mole was inside your mind the whole time.
Can you imagine if that was the case? Great.
All right. Any other minutia to go over challenge number 3? So the end was there's this questionnaire is so weird. Like, are you trying to, like, when you answer the questionnaire, are you just pinpointing to the person you think is the mole, or are you like all over the place to just kind of like?
There's definitely a strategy to taking that test.
There's only one goal though, which is not to be like the least amount of points.
Yeah,
So you want
And
to
you-
hedge your bets,
for sure.
right? Like that's
So
that's
the
gotta
one
be.
with the least amount of points is the least number of points the questions they got wrong, right? So the questions they got right, you get points. Correct?
Probably.
Yeah, you get
Yeah.
every question you get right, you get a point. Whoever gets the lowest score
Right.
is out.
Yeah.
What if there's a tiebreaker?
It's the slowest person to take the test.
Oh, there's a time tiebreaker.
There's a time tiebreaker.
Has it come down to that?
It apparently has come down to that.
Oh.
Do
you
they
don't really
talk
have
about
Anderson's word for it, but
Oh, so they don't bring it up on the show if there's a time type.
no. Anderson will say something like, "Tonight there was a tie, so the person who got eliminated was the slower one."
Gotcha.
They have all these people sitting right across from Anderson Cooper, where there's a TV and a laptop. And
Oh,
Anderson types in the name into this laptop, and it shows up on the TV. And these people are there silently, like just kind of like, I'm unsafe. And then one person just like gives you these wicked. Offie gives this like wicked evil eye when she gets kicked off. It says nothing. Goes to the van. Silent.
That was a hell of an exit. I've never seen an exit like that off a reality show.
So here's the thing, like this, there's so many things that are weird to unpack about this
yeah.
elimination thing. So first thing is Anderson calls it the execution.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a bunch of things to really make it seem like this person is dead now.
Well, you gotta kill the mole, right? Is that the
No,
the
I think
idea?
the mole is safe. Because the
So
mole
they're
knows
just
all the
killing-
answers.
So they're killing someone in this execution that they know isn't the mole.
Right. Who doesn't know enough about the mole.
Then
so
the execution
the mole
doesn't make any
killed
sense.
The mole's
them.
killing people.
The mole can never lose this challenge.
So they're getting killed by the mole because they
Yeah.
couldn't identify the mole.
Yeah,
Got it.
exactly.
That's the okay.
And so I think they're told that they're not allowed to talk. Only Anderson gets to talk.
It has to be.
right, they can't share information.
They all file in silently. They always just sit there and like they're like trying, like they obviously seem relieved when when their name gets typed in and the green screen shows up, but they're like not really saying anything because they're not supposed to talk. And then when someone's getting eliminated, Anderson's like, "Get up, get your bag, we're out of here," and they just silently like walk away.
It's
They're dead.
nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, because they could definitely mess up the game by saying stuff potentially, but like, who knows if what they're saying is true anyway? So it's yeah.
yeah.
No, but you know they're not the mole.
Well, you already know that they're not the mole.
Well, now you do.
Yeah.
Like you know they're not the mole the minute the
Right.
red screen comes up.
You're like, oh, it wasn't them, but they're going home now.
But like the whole like the way we got to eliminate people is we got to have Anderson Cooper type into a laptop. Is just such a strange
so bad.
mechanism.
You got to hear the key typing too.
You
Click,
hear the
click,
key
click,
type,
click.
and like they'll show the TV, and you see the letters appearing one by one. Like Anderson Cooper's not typing those names real fast. He's taking his time typing them in.
Is he actually doing it, or do they have like some sort of animation already set up?
I think he's actually doing it.
That'd be amazing if he was actually typing them in.
And this is-
they just wrote some program to.
It's interesting to see a 2001 laptop too.
Oh yeah, does he
That's
get to
a,
choose?
it's a big. He's not lugging that thing. I'll tell you that much.
No.
Oh, they were at the time. They're like, look how portable this thing
Like,
is.
No, I'm just saying the producing crew is
Oh,
moving
yeah.
that thing. He not moving it.
So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
he actually types in the names, but do you think then there's someone else who just presses the green red button and it doesn't actually like the name doesn't actually trigger?
That could be.
Do you think there's actually
would
a
like to
program
think-
that they put the names in, and then when it comes up, it like programmatically picks the green or red?
I mean, I would like to think that this survey is just built into this whole system, and it scores it and it does it. But who knows? Like, it wouldn't be that hard to.
When I
make
initially
that.
saw that, I was like, "Oh, this is clearly they just CGI whatever the fuck on that screen later." But the way they reacted, I'm like, they're definitely not doing that. So I don't know. Maybe they're just like the first 8 people they put 7 people they put in. You're good. The last one you're out, and they just post.
So then in
But this is-
Well, I'm
this
curious
is
how the
pretty
ordering
early.
works. So like, is A Cooper or is Coop just randomly picking which names to go in certain orders, or is there
I don't
do
know.
they
If,
rotate?
It's the algorithm, man.
I feel like Coop
I don't know.
knows like who's getting the boot because like sometimes he'll say he's doing it alphabetical. Some like this time he's like, who wants me to put their name in first? He's like, okay, I'll pick you. But like it's
Yeah.
almost never the first one he puts in, and so it definitely and like I think the first season it's never the first 2 he puts in. So like it
Right.
definitely seems like there's like
somebody fed him an order, and he's just executing it, right?
well like today he's like, who wants to go first?
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he picked someone. So like there's
Right. So
he has
there's
some degree of
There's an illusion of dynamicness Potentially.
They definitely want you to think Anderson Cooper is just randomly deciding what order the names go in. But
I think that they should have they should take a page out of the "Are You the One" playbook,
Ooh.
and the whole thumbprint thing really reminds me of the handprint on the iPad.
Ooh,
Just
it
have
really
it come
does.
up, handprint the iPad.
it's
and then
2001. There's no iPad.
Yeah, you know.
This was cutting edge.
just-
That
cutting
Windows
edge.
mobile phone. Get up there and put your hand on it.
Here's this thumbprint
It was
reader.
Yeah, did you see
Windows
the size of the
CE at the
laptop?
time.
That a lot is that laptop have a fingerprint reader on it? They could have just.
I bet it
thumbed-
doesn't. But then, after they're eliminated and Anderson takes them away, then they have these like little interviews with all the people that aren't eliminated, and they talk about the person really like the person is dead, and it's in the past tense. They're like, they're really going to be missed. Like I really enjoyed like getting to know them, and I can't believe they're gone. And it's every week, it's so insane.
It's rough. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, the montage at the end of all the like.
Oh yeah, and they also have a montage of clips of that person from the 2 episodes they were in.
I can't imagine the montage of episode 1. Just I just watch this episode.
You remember what
it's a
just happened
montage.
a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
In memoriam.
So I didn't see any like question. Is there any questionable things Offie did to make her seem like she was the mole?
So
Well, no, we know she's not the mole.
No, I'm just saying.
But did
like,
she try to pull
Well, it
anything?
wasn't that people thought she was the mole. It's just that she
No. I
got
get
everything
that,
wrong.
but there's other people that did dumb things that thought that like made it seem like multiple people were the mole, and I was
Yeah.
wondering if Offie had any of those moments. And I don't.
Well,
not in this episode. doesn't
Offie,
seem like-
Offie was in the van, and when we didn't really talk about this, but like there's a point where 2 people get out of the van, and Jim is driving the van, and then Jim disappears. And so Offie was definitely on team. I think we're at the right place. Let's just keep running around this place, even though it definitely seems like it's the wrong place.
Yeah. But it seemed like that could have just been
that
not
doesn't
knowing
seem
where they
very-
were.
It's just about not having enough information. Maybe the other players witnessed other things.
Could be.
That's true. One last thing about the questionnaire. So like it's a 20 question questionnaire in season 1, and like they'd only show you a couple of the questions in passing. Then in future seasons, it's a 10 question questionnaire, and Anderson Cooper reads you every question.
Weird.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a time taker, but I think it was like they got feedback if people wanted to know more about the questions. But like this
I
show
was
is
curious.
screaming out for a second screen experience, which they definitely were not doing in 2001.
I definitely don't care about what the questions were.
Well,
in the question.
I want to know what the questions are, but I don't need them to take 20 minutes on it. But like,
And
yeah,
for
like
them to
Rob's totally
talk
right. If there
through-
was like a thing on my phone, I could just be like, oh, okay, these are the questions. I could read it like
Yeah.
while they were talking about it. I would
Oh,
totally do
this
that.
would be great as like the bachelor drafting thing. Like every week you fill out the questionnaire yourself.
Yeah.
But they
Oh,
can't
yeah.
tell you how well you did until like the season's
Right,
done.
right.
But yeah, I know
That's-
there should be definitely a thing of you take the questions and it keeps track somehow.
That would
That'd
be
really great.
amazing.
Is this a special feature on the DVD?
Are
to know
you
what the
smarter
questions are?
than the mole
I
contestant?
don't think the questions are available.
There's no interactive content on the DVD.
No, there's a bunch of trailers and stuff.
Remember when that was a thing for a while?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
all these DVD makers.
that
were
Final
like,
Destination
I don't-
4 or 5 or something?
was
You
there
could.
something?
Yeah,
oh
you-
yeah, you could like choose the different deaths or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
man.
like
That was a weird
choose your own
thing.
adventure movie ish thing.
Mhm.
DVD games are universally terrible.
Oh yeah, they're all
All right.
horrible.
So explain this like why you ever want to seem like you're the mole in this game.
Because if people think that you're the mole, then they'll answer questions on their mole test with you as the person in their head that they're answering it for, and they'll miss those questions.
Yeah, but then you don't have as much money in the pot.
No. Them answer. You
right.
can act like
no,
an
no,
idiot.
no. Like you're totally right. Like you might cause like yourself to lose some money, like at the cost of knocking a person or two out for sure. It's like it's a calculation.
The incentives are really kind of weird because you're right. The optimal way to play the game in terms of getting you to win means you get less money.
But if you pinpoint who the mole is, like right away, and then you try to get as much money as possible, that's
That's the
money.
if you're certain who the mole is,
yeah.
then you definitely do not have to pretend to be the mole, and you should try to win every single challenge because you know that you'll never be eliminated from the test, right? Like if you're certain who the mole is, but like you're never going to be certain.
So when
who
it
the
gets
mole is.
down to like 3 people left,
Yeah.
and they have to answer this questionnaire,
Yeah.
it's got to be pretty obvious to the 2 non-mole people who the mole is.
But by the time you get down to 3, it's pretty.
So is it just how fast you can answer that stupid questionnaire?
It's a combination of how fast, but then the last questionnaire is longer and it's for the whole season, so it's hard to get them all right.
It's a little bit of a memory game too.
Yeah. So
So they ask you specific questions about like
It used to be like
Were
on
they-
on the whatever challenge, who was doing the Cartier? Was the mole doing the Cartier watch thing?
yeah,
Oh,
like
I don't know.
Right.
or like they'll be like, was the mole in the leaders, followers, or good eyes group? And you're like, oh god, what was that thing? And like stuff like that. So
Yeah.
they talk about
So it's a huge memory game.
it's a huge memory game
for sure.
Oh god.
And so they talk about in the finale of person 1 made a point of trying to answer as fast as possible, but then person 2 got more questions right.
Interesting.
How many people do they whittle it down like in the final episode?
So the final episode, there's 3 people,
Man, they
and
go
like
down
they
to
still
3.
they wheel them out one by one with Anderson Cooper in his laptop, and he types in their names, and one of them gets the red screen and be like, "Yeah, you lost," and then one of them gets a green screen and is like, "Guess what? You just won," and then they just bring the mole out to be like, "And here," and you already know who it is, but here they are.
So the mole's just the third person.
Yeah, so they don't wheel the mole out to
Like
have
he's sitting there.
their screen read by Anderson Cooper, because it's like we all know what's going on.
He's some sort of blue screen, some sort of mole screen.
Mole's just
Well,
a
no.
picture of a mole.
The mole
What
gets
does
the
the mole? What does the mole do? How does the mole react in this situation? It's like, I got ya.
basically.
Like-
Well, no, it's like it's on I got you, because the winner is like, yeah, you knew it was me.
Yeah.
Oh, right, because they got the money.
Does-
I got you.
Does the mole get compensated, or like any incentive based payment on how much they prevent the other people from making?
Oh, that would be interesting.
They've never said it one way or the other, but I don't think so.
'Cause
I think they're just basically like part of the production team, and they get a salary, and like the producers work with them,
and they
come
just
give-
tell them exactly what to do.
like they'll tell them things that are going on. Like I think sometimes they just tell them, like they don't tell them exactly what to do. They just tell them like, here's some things to like think about in the thing, because they're trying to make it more natural and stuff. But they're definitely working with the producers to figure out what to do.
Yeah. So like it's not as if there's just like another reality show contestant operating in a rogue fashion to try and just prevent them from getting money. Like they're part of the production crew.
They're part of the- but like I believe that they applied to be on the show. And they don't explain how, but like basically at some point the producers were like, "We want you on the show, but can you actually be the mole? And that's your role, and we're going to work with you to make that happen." But like maybe that's not true. Like that might have been, multiple levels of producer misdirection.
Yeah. Who knows? Man, there's no way I could be the mole for the entire time. That'd be so hard to just be
How
playing
long
all those people.
is this show, like film wise?
A Coop said 28 days.
That's a long reality show.
That's a good amount of time to be living with all these people,
Yep.
having to pretend to be something you're not.
It's a great vacation though. Like you're going to all these crazy places in Europe. At least at this part, I assume they go to America. They said something
So
about 2
They s-
continents.
They start in America.
Okay.
But they spend almost the whole in episode 1 they get to Paris and they never leave Europe. They spend the whole time in France and Spain.
Okay.
In season 2, I think they start in America again, but it's mostly in Italy.
Cool.
But like an interesting thing is like they do is like they're obviously having like kind of nice dinners every night, and Anderson Cooper has dinner with them every night, and he's just hanging out and they're drinking wine and like
Cooper definitely looks like he's on vacation.
That's fun.
so yeah, so like this is definitely like Anderson Cooper's European vacation, where he's just like hanging out and going to different places. He's eating baguettes, he's drinking wine, and he's just
Anderson Cooper
loving
didn't
life.
want like a change of pace, like some sort of South American vacation, like an Asian vacation.
Well, maybe if they'd done more seasons, he would have. But they did the 2 seasons. The 2 seasons with Anderson Cooper were both in Europe. Then Celebrity Mole was hosted by Ahmad Rashad,
I forgot about that actually.
and they were both in the Caribbean. And then season 3 was hosted by some guy who you've never heard of, and that was I think in Mexico.
So just different vacation places.
Oh yeah, it's never in America very much. I think one was in Hawaii, so I guess that counts as America, but it's also tropical.
An American vacation destination.
So not Caribbean, but like tropical
Yeah,
kind of.
sure.
Yeah.
So clearly the ratings weren't great on this show. If there was only 2 seasons,
I think season 1 was okay, and then it went off a cliff.
There was a lot of reality show infighting in the 2003 era, I would say.
Yeah.
What? What does that
No,
mean?
I'm just there was so much competition. Everybody's trying to get in on it.
There's a lot of like these, second generation competition reality shows, like the wave after the Survivor, Amazing Race, kind of initial wave of stuff that were kind of maybe not as well thought through. I think
some sort of mole.
I mean, like the Mole's a good example, I think, but like I don't know.
But I think there's also a show that's like we watched episode 2, but we did watch the first 5 minutes of episode 1 to explain what's going on. I think this is a hard show to jump in on. That's like
They
you just start the
definitely needed
show
that
and you're like,
intro
what's
for every episode.
So this is like halfway through the season, there's an extra Anderson Cooper explanation at the start of every episode of what's going on. So I think part of the problem was
that
people
feedback.
did not know what the heck was going on with the show.
Yeah.
There's a lot of meta game for this for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like everyone would probably try to, like, still don't understand why you wouldn't just get the challenges done and you win the money and then you're like, I understand that they're trying. If everyone did that, I think it would be much more clear who the mole was instead of just like this kind of meta analysis of, I gotta screw this challenge up so people think I'm the mole so that I can win the questionnaire, and then like now everyone else is going to do that, so then I just make this show fucking boring because everyone's just like messing up all the time, so then I
That
can't
seems
watch
like-
people actually try.
It seems like good strategy to try and
No, I
throw
understand
other
it might be
people
good
off of it,
strategy,
like-
but it does not make for entertaining TV.
I don't know.
I think that's the it's part of the fun of the show is enjoying the mystery aspect of it and being like trying to figure out who's acting weird, and they're all sometimes acting weird, and so that's like part of the enjoyment
It could
of
be
it.
any one of them.
Is it time for Max gives us his detailed breakdown of who's the mole?
All right, here's the breakdown.
There was multiple times during this episode where Max says, he's the mole. And then
And
when
it-
somebody else
and
is
then-
like, no,
yeah.
he's the mole.
Like about
Max goes, he's the mole. Anyone can be the mole. Like about every 5 minutes.
It's true. They all are weird. I have 3 front runners.
Okay.
3 out of 9.
Close.
3 out of 8 now.
3 out of 8.
You're really, really getting down there, Max.
We got-
Hey, 3 out of 8 might be enough to spread out your answers and do okay on that quiz.
We got Steven, the man in the Iron Mask.
That's right.
Okay.
We got older woman who barely featured in this episode.
Talking about Kate, who like had trouble getting back up the hill.
No.
Yeah.
Older than her.
She's definitely the oldest.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Maybe it was Kate.
There's Wendy.
Wendy's not that old.
Right.
and then there's Catherine.
Kate's the one that made the correct call on the watch, right?
So the women are Wendy, Catherine, Kate, Offie, and Jennifer.
I'm going to say it's Kate then.
Kate.
And
You don't even know your own mole suggestion.
She's such a deep mole, Max doesn't even know she exists.
you know what? I'm actually going to leave it at those 2.
Oh.
Okay.
There is one guy, Jim, who seems like he acts too much, but if you were the mole, you wouldn't act that much.
Ooh, I see.
Unless you weren't acting.
We'll see. We'll find out. What does everyone else think? Well, you guys
Well,
cannot.
Harrison and I are
I
not
don't
gonna,
wanna comment.
not going to say. James, any guesses? Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I don't really know, but who's with the black guy's name?
Henry.
Henry.
I think it could be Henry. I don't know. That like first
Henry
challenge.
definitely did some sketchy stuff.
The first challenge. I feel like it was pretty sketchy. Let that girl run off.
Yeah.
This I don't know. I don't particularly care that much, to be honest.
Yeah, I would say Henry or Jim, but the more you talk about like these names, you're like, well, but there's all these reasons it couldn't be them. I don't know. Who knows? I have no idea.
You guys should spoil it for them, and I can step out.
Well, we should do some ratings before we do spoilers.
Ooh, okay,
maybe.
okay. Ratings.
All right, Rob, give us your rating since it's your show.
This is one of the easiest top thirds that's ever happened. This is a great show.
Top of the
Long
top?
live Cooper. Get him off CNN. Get him back hosting reality TV.
This is the top of the top.
Oh, it's in the conversation.
Wait, so is CNN not reality TV or?
His talents are wasted at CNN.
That's fair. Okay,
Did
got it.
we
Now I
just
got
watch
you.
an hour of CNN one time? And that's our pod?
You mean No Reservations 2?
Yeah, so you want the show to come back full force. Have you seen every episode of the show?
I've seen every episode of this show, including every celebrity episode, many of which featured Stephen Baldwin, aka the worst Baldwin.
A lot of Stephen Baldwin.
They like Stephen Baldwin was, I guess, technically the most famous person they got, and so they're like, "We got
Wow.
Stephen Baldwin on the show," and I'm like, "He is so annoying. Get him off my TV." And that was before he was a Trump supporter.
Stephen Baldwin has been on every possible celebrity reality competition show, I think.
He hasn't been on Celebrity Big Brother.
Oh man, you should get him on there.
He's
There's
already
only
applying
one
for season.
Are you sure
I'm
that he
gonna-
wasn't in the UK version?
Oh, that's a great comeback.
Do you think Stephen Baldwin is just a Trump supporter because he supports his brother?
No, his brother is not happy about it.
All right.
But like the thing about the show coming back is like when they brought it back in 2008 for like the third non-celebrity season, it wasn't as good. And they didn't have Anderson Cooper, although the third host was better than Ahmad Rashad. But like they were trying to kind of dumb it down. I think they were trying to do it on like a lot cheaper and stuff like that. And just didn't work as well. So maybe it was a bad cast. Maybe like they could try again and make it work. But I don't know. I think it might be a product of its time, and you can't bring it back.
I think it's a product of its time. With Survivor being on for 30 seasons, there's a lot of like meta game analysis that's going to happen. And a lot of people with cell phones and like just like you can't do the challenges that they did on this episode, I don't think, today. Like there's just a lot more logistics, a lot more insurance, there's a lot more like other things that just wouldn't let that happen. And it's not the shows people watch, realistically.
Right.
Harrison, you want to give us your ratings here?
Yeah, this is definitely a top third show for me. Like, I mean, I watched this when it was on. It's good. Like,
How
I mean,
many seasons did you watch?
I don't remember how many I watched. Like, I definitely at least watched the first regular one and for sure the first celebrity one. And I've probably seen at least one other regular mole season. But
So-
I probably haven't seen every single
So
season.
you're one of the reasons why the ratings dropped. is what
It's
you're
certainly
telling me.
possible.
It's
certainly
all your
possible.
fault.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I guess I'm pretty surprised that there aren't other shows that have this feature of like there's a hidden production person on the cast of the show. 'Cause it seems like there's so much potential with that, and like even if it's not this particular format, like I'm surprised that that kind of thing doesn't exist.
So you want
For
somebody
sure.
like in The Bachelor just stirring shit up.
And like yeah, and like maybe they are, maybe they aren't plugged into the production people, but like someone in the show who has the opposite motivation of the people who are actually playing it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the producers already have enough power. Why do you need somebody pretending to be in the show?
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
I think it would be great if like The Bachelor, there's one contestant on there who's like just there to kind of stir things up,
So
and
they're
they
not
reveal
there.
partway through, like, I wasn't actually. I'm here for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they're not there for the right reason.
You know, like it doesn't work on The Bachelor because The Bachelor has all this artifice of this is about finding love, and so you can't do it there. But like you could do it on other shows.
Dude, like for The Bachelor, it would actually help make sense for all those damn people to be like, this person's not here for the right reasons. Because then they
Oh,
would even have
yeah.
a reason to say
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It's so
Yes.
dumb, right? It would all make so much sense.
Yeah,
They're like, oh, this person's not here for the right reason. They must be the mole.
I think you change what that show is about by doing that.
Oh, you definitely.
and
will.
I don't
I
think that's
think
what they
it's-
want.
seems
I don't
like it's
thi-
for the better.
I don't think that's no.
like I don't think The Bachelor is the right show to do it, but this is as a mechanism that can be used to make a reality show more interesting. I think is very possible. Like, Are You the One should definitely be doing this. That there's two people that do not have matches and know they don't have matches and are just trying to stir it up.
I
That'd be
agree.
great.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean-
definitely an underutilized mechanic.
Are You the One barely has a chance to win regardless. You put two people in that like actively force people to not like win.
Well,
You'll never win in that game.
They'd have to change the mechanics to make it a little easier to win with that
That's
extra
what I'm
challenge, but
saying.
it'd be
It's
more
like
fun.
you fundamentally change the rules of the game. You can't just take
Maybe
an
it's not just
existing.
like, maybe it's not just wedging it into like an existing show.
Yeah.
Maybe it is.
you
like,
got to make your
design the
own
show.
kind of show.
But like, yeah, I mean, but like, there are about 1 billion new reality shows produced every day, and like, this is the only one that like has this thing in it. Like, it's crazy.
That we've heard of.
At least that we've heard of. Yeah.
All right, James, give me your rating.
So the show was, there's a lot of different angles that this show tries to go in. Overall, though, I think it's pretty good. It's definitely pretty fun, entertaining. I really like the mystery element of it. That feels like that has a lot to like keep me wanting to come back. I could see like wanting to watch the next episode, etc. I totally had the problem on episode 2 where I didn't know what was going on immediately, so I was glad we watched the first 5 of the first episode. Glad to hear that feedback was addressed in later episodes. Yeah, overall, I'm going to put this in the top. I don't know that I'm going to go like super out of my way to watch the rest of it, especially if I get spoiled on who the mole is here later. But yeah, the show definitely, it's up there. It had you wanting to come back. So I'm going to go number 3 on the James scale.
All right. Max.
Wait, so that's bottom of the top, the number 3.
This
Yeah.
is the bottom of the top.
Okay.
I don't know why you just say bottom of the top.
So it's a 1 to 9 scale.
I
don't know.
like that the James scale doesn't make sense. So keep
There's
doing it the way
numbers.
you're doing it.
Max, give me a rating.
Bottom of the top. I need to see more challenges before I can upgrade it. But this was a good ep, and the mystery really works for me. It's a great, stupid formula and should be reproduced everywhere.
All right.
Dating naked or con. Actually, Crook versus Con might be the closest analog we got.
Totally, yeah. That is kind of.
Oh, you're right.
Or Cook versus Con, not Crook versus Con.
Cook or crook.
Cook or Crook.
So I'll be the lone dissenting voice here. I'm going to go middle tier. It's not actively bad, but it tried to make it so intense. There was no levity. There was no I just didn't enjoy it that much.
That's okay.
That's the fundamental thing I could say about the show is like the music, the tone,
The music was great, actually.
the editing, all made it seem so serious, and I don't think it was. These aren't actors. It's not writing. It's not like good enough to have that kind of a tone, and that I didn't enjoy it. So, it's not actively bad. So it's middle tier. So that's where I'm going to put it.
Like, you're definitely up for like a serious evening of mystery with Anderson Cooper when you tune into this show. you have to know what you're getting into.
And it's a good point with the music. Like the music is like really trying to build that like spy movie atmosphere of like, oh, we gotta race the boat across the water. Let's go.
But like the music is pretty iconic too. Like as soon as we put the DVD in, I'm like, oh man, it's the mole music. It's amazing. Yeah.
I definitely was rolling my eyes a couple times just at like the music, and it's too much.
I love the music.
No, it's fine. I can see why people like it.
No,
I could see it.
You giving us a James rating or just middle third?
It's just middle third.
All right.
There's no.
All right.
I just can't do the stack rank within the stack rank anymore. Ow.
It's hard to
Just-
keep
I
in your
just-
head what shows are in what score.
Yeah,
impossible.
I'm out on that.
Well, there you have it, folks. 4 out of 5 dentists agree. The Mole, good shit.
Pretty good.
Would you recommend all of the seasons of The Mole, Rob, as a mole historian?
So, if you
A
can get
molestor, if you will.
both Anderson Cooper seasons, 100% recommend. The Celebrity Moles and the final non-celebrity season are definitely not on the same level. But like if like there was another season of The Mole coming out and like fucking Stephen Baldwin was in it, I'd watch it.
Who were the celebrities? And was this the first celebrity reality show? Like, what is this
I
like?
can't imagine.
Like,
I
it's
can't imagine.
definitely not. But how many celebrity reality shows were there before this?
It must have been one of the first ones.
Like,
You're
it
right.
can't have been that many before that.
So that's the only one I can remember. There was Stephen Baldwin was in both celebrity seasons.
Why you can't bring back a celebrity?
Stephen Baldwin
Was he the
loved-
mole in the second one? That would have been great.
All right,
If he was like the mole in one and not in the other.
This is the only spoiler I'll give with Max here. Stephen Baldwin was never the mole,
Interesting.
and he is not good at the mole.
Should I read out the
Somebody try to remember.
celebrity contestants? We got-
Wait, Max. How many people from this list are you gonna know?
Stephen Baldwin.
Okay,
Actually, no, 2. It's going to be like Monica Lewinsky or something crazy.
We've got Corbin Burnson, actor from Major League and LA Law. We've got Eric Von Detten, actor from The Princess Diaries and Dinotopia.
What? You can't just say from, starring in such films as, you've heard as Dinotopia.
That's what it says here, man.
I've definitely heard the name of that first
Keep
one.
it going.
We've got Frederique Vanderwall, Victoria's Secret model. We've got Kathy Griffin, comedian.
Oh, there you go.
Kim,
Is this where she and Anderson met?
maybe.
No, Anderson was out.
Oh,
The celebrity mole.
Oh, damn. And then we've got Kim Coles, actress from Living Single and In Living Color. Michael Boatman, actor. I don't know what that first one is. Arliss
Arliss.
with $2 and Spin City. And then Stephen Baldwin, actor. The Usual Suspects and The Flintstones in Viva Rock Vegas.
So that Michael Boatman
man, that's
from
a
Spin
real-
City, he was the one that I was like, oh, this is a guy and stuff I've seen because I watched some seasons of Spin City.
I've definitely Spin City, Major League, Kathy Griffin.
Arliss.
The Flintstones and Viva Rock Vegas, of course.
That's not a bad list of celebrities, to be honest. From Scared Famous,
that ain't bad.
That's what we're comparing
as they
this
say.
to.
So I was sort of curious. Have any of these celebrity reality shows, like when they've done a celebrity season, been better than like the normal non-celebrity season?
I don't think so.
Right? Like it
Is
seems like
there
you hear
a-
celebrity like, oh, that's like the off season, or like, you know what I mean? It's like here's the shit
Well-
version of the show.
I know one show that started doing celebrity seasons and never went back and did a non-celebrity season and did like 8 celebrity seasons.
I know what show
The
you're
Celebrity
talking
Apprentice.
It is Celebrity Apprentice.
Oh God,
Yeah.
of course it would be.
about. I think that the Celebrity Big Brother in the UK is like pretty big.
Yeah.
I don't know if they do regular and celebrity there still.
But I think the question is, has a show ever been better with celebrities?
What about Dancing with the
Yeah.
Stars? Is there
Like,
a non-Dancing
but
with the
there was
Stars?
never just like dancing with the normies. Like,
Well, I mean,
Dancing-
but that's the
yeah.
thing is like that show wouldn't work
Right.
unless they were stars.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. So there are shows that have been created with the stars thing in mind. I guess you could say like, is The Voice like American Idol with more famous judges?
Maybe.
Does that count?
It should be like Celebrity American Idol. It's just all famous real ass singers competing. It'd be like the most intense version. Ugh.
I just found a whole histogram of all like reality shows and when they launched, and like this is sorted by competing for prizes
Wow.
shows.
That's pretty good.
For competing for prizes shows, Mole number 3.
Number 3 show. Oh, what are the
No,
first
like
two?
ever launched.
Yeah, what are the
So
what are the
Survivor,
Survivor
Amazing
and Big
Race.
Brother.
Oh, Big Brother.
Brother.
Oh, Big Brother, I guess was.
So this
yeah.
this was before Amazing Race.
Yeah,
Or
the
it's a different
Amazing
category?
Race.
For Amazing Race.
Damn.
How long after was Amazing Race?
It had to be right after this.
It was right after. It was
Yeah.
like 6 months.
In
I'll send this out. This is interesting.
Because I feel like
Post it on the Facebook.
What about ABC's famous "Are You Hot?" The search for America's sexiest people.
Oh, boy.
I saw an episode of that and was like, I don't get this show. This is super boring, and didn't watch it again.
Oh man, there's some good stuff on here. All right,
man,
moving
forget
on.
it.
Sounds like we got some stuff for the backlog.
some sort of Max's Internet Corner right there.
I do
That was
want
a
to
good
throw
internet
out
corner.
that there are a couple of interesting celebrity contestants on Celebrity Mole Season 2. So not only did Stephen Baldwin come back for another appearance, but Corbin Burnson also made another appearance in that season.
I forgot about that.
And then Keisha Knight Pulliam from The Cosby Show's in it.
oh, our
along
Celebrity Big Brother.
with, yeah, Celebrity Big Brother tie-in. And we got Dennis Rodman in the mix.
Oh man,
Rodman's in there.
I've never seen like a season 2 get better celebrities than the first season.
Yeah.
That's basketball players joining these reality shows
Basketball
Crazy.
players love going on reality shows.
because they can't act, so they want to be on TV.
Do you think Meta asked Dennis Rodman for some tips?
Oh man, how'd you play? Med didn't even know what show he was on. It's he didn't ask
He
anyone.
thought
for
he was
tips.
going on the mole.
He's like,
I'm ready to be the mole.
spent too long listening to Rodman.
We don't have a challenge update, so I don't know what to do now.
We do got Bachelor Winter Games update.
Oh yeah,
Oh God,
Hit me.
That's done. Oh, thank
It
goodness.
is done. I saw finale part 2.
Finale part 2, the stupidest.
All right, I'll,
It's a 4-episode season, guys. What
It's
what the
8
fuck are you
hours though.
doing?
That's a lot of TV.
Oh, Jesus.
Hit me,
I think it
Rob.
might have been more than 8. I think there was there was a reunion on finale.
Oh,
version.
so a
Man.
reunion? There's only 4 episodes in. What do we? What do we?
Wow,
what
it's
do we need a
been
reunion
2
for?
whole weeks since
Well,
I saw you.
Yeah.
So like winter break is probably going to be 8 hours too. So like
Yeah, but it's over a longer span of time.
it might even be less than 8 hours. Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I get what you're saying, but they just crammed it into 2 weeks.
Yeah, so you don't need a reunion show. Like I just learned who these people are last week.
All right,
Like,
Rob.
That's okay.
Anyways.
Rob, give it to us.
All right, I'll try and not take too much time.
Figure
but
skating.
figure skating was the final challenge, and they got Nancy Kerrigan as one of the
Oh
coaches
my
/ judges. No Tanya Harding though, just Nancy Kerrigan. Well, not just Nancy. They also had 2 pairs skaters that I assume are well known, but I didn't know who they were.
That'd have been amazing if they set up a Nancy Kerrigan, Tanya Harding
That would have
opposing coaches situation.
That would have been so good. But like they, and like before the commercial breaks, they'll show stuff what's coming up and stuff. Like there was so much of showing the same shots of Nancy Kerrigan over and over again. It was pretty rough. So they're teaching them how to do ice dancing. So they don't have to do any like jumps and stuff, but the guy is supposed to pick up the woman at least once during the routine. So they're doing a little bit of stuff.
Rob, was it your wife who was talking about how much she loves Nancy Kerrigan?
Yes, that is true.
So was this like a big
it was very exciting.
okay, big hullabaloo?
Yeah, and so they do some practicing, and like they're all doing okay, and then they go back to the house, and then for some reason one of the 5 couples just decides to quit.
What?
It's like we're out of here. We
Like,
don't want to do this
the
ice
New
dancing
Zealand.
thing.
This is the New Zealand guy who flipped the coin, and he was talking about how, oh man, I went through a really rough thing, and like I got to make sure you're really in it. And she's like, well, I kind of just met you. I'm not sure what I'm feeling yet. And they quit like in the middle of the night. So the next morning, so you have, hey, Bibiana? Like, yeah, what? She's gone. Like, what?
She passed away.
Wait,
Yeah.
so the couple quit together.
Yeah, they quit together.
So like,
They have
we're
to
like
quit
we're gonna
together.
leave the show and we're gonna like go see if this thing is anything.
No, I think they broke up and quit the show
Oh, they broke up.
simultaneously
Well, they
There's
can't.
two
They
nuts.
have. They can't. One can't be there without the other.
because they can't do this ice skating.
They can't do
routine.
the
Oh, so
couples thing.
Bibiana
But they could-
leaves,
but they could
and then
leave.
the other dude's like, "Well, I guess I'm off the show now."
No, it's kind of. It definitely seemed like a mutual. We are breaking up, and therefore we both need to leave the show
Got it.
situation.
Okay.
So they're down to 4 for the actual.
They're
skating
different. It's
routine.
definitely not a serious thing, James. Like no one gives a fuck.
I thought they had to be in it for the right reasons, Chris.
You gotta
Yeah.
be in for the right reasons.
They were, so that's why they had to leave because they were.
By the way, you gotta be in for the right reasons is some foreshadowing for the reunion.
Oh god.
Uh-oh.
So then there's a lot of buildup of just like they got to get these fancy costumes and they're like and like it goes on forever. But then before they start the actual ice dancing competition, they're like, but first let's sing the Bachelor Winter Games anthem again. And I cannot believe they make
Why did
everyone
you not
stand.
snap this picture to us? I needed the video of them doing this again.
I really should have. I dropped the ball on that. But yeah, so they do the whole anthem again, and I can't believe it. Then they do the routines, and like they're actually all pretty okay. Like none of them do terrible, and like for people that definitely couldn't skate like before this started, like they're doing pretty good. And they do a definitely big thing where like Kevin, the Canadian guy, is clearly the guy who knows a lot about skating and is the best. So it's like, oh, Ashley's not as good as him, and it's like, oh, he kind of hurt his knee, he might not do well, and like the editing, he doesn't seem like they do that great. Of course, Kevin and Ashley I win the ice skating competition and are your Bachelor Winter Games champions.
So what do you get as being the Bachelor Winter Games champions?
Eternal love and happiness.
You get
Do you get married on the spot?
a golden rose,
Okay.
and you get the title of Bachelor Winter Games champion,
Okay.
Boom.
and that's it.
There was definitely a little bit of a hullabaloo about this dude injuring himself right before the thing. Like he stepped on the ice to do a practice skate. I happened to flip on the finale of this when it was on TV. I should
I
preface
was about
this by
to dive
saying,
deep on
You
that.
got caught.
but I was like, I was watching TV, like, ooh, let me check the last 30 minutes of this finale and see what it looks like. So this dude hopped on the ice, looks like he messes up his knee or something. There's a bunch of stuff out about it. Not a factor at all.
Yeah. Well, like it is a true thing that like if you're used to wearing hockey skates, then you put on figure skates. There's what's called a toe pick at the
Right.
at the top of the
Yeah. Oh,
skate,
yeah.
and if you're not used to them, they can really mess you up. So I think he legitimately fell because he hit the toe.
That's
pick.
what it looked like. Yeah.
I did leave out one thing. So before they do the skating competition, they can go on. They each get to go on a date, and they have fantasy suite cards.
Oh, yeah.
They can choose to go in
Oh.
the fantasy suite. And most of them decide not to because they're not ready yet. They don't want to mess it up. But
How
Ashley,
gross is that room by this point?
What?
How gross is the fantasy suite yet?
Well, no, only
Like,
one
does somebody
person.
clean
They
it?
each get their own fantasy suite.
Oh, there's separate.
But Ashley
fantasy
I,
suites.
who was a famous virgin and that was apparently a big deal on her seasons of The Bachelor before and stuff. And Emmy talked about that. They go into the fantasy suites.
Oh.
Boom.
And then afterwards they say, we're not going to talk about what went on in the fantasy suite. But then later Ashley I was like, I'm ready for fantasy suite round 2.
Oh.
So make of that what you will.
It's,
I was very
Max's
confused with that
clicky
noise.
sound. I'm not sure if does that mean like Max is into it? Does he approve? Does he disapprove? Like who knows what it means?
That's how Max claps.
So, was there any drama in this after show or?
So after show, so they talked to the 4 couples that skated. So Kevin and Ashley are still together, and apparently he's moved to LA. She's from LA, and he really comes off as way more of a douchey bro in the reunion than he ever did on the show. Including he's apparently a big Tom Brady fan.
oh,
Is he wearing a Brady jersey?
He was not wearing a Brady jersey.
The douchey
but,
bro captain.
My joy at the Canadian triumph was really going downhill quickly on the
Man.
reunion. Trump wins again. Then they talked to Courtney and whatever her name is, Lily, who were the Australia-New Zealand couple. And guess what? These people from Australia, New Zealand who just want to find love have also moved to LA, and now they live in LA. And they're definitely not trying to be actors or get more into the reality TV scene. Not at all.
So
But
good.
they did some sort of road trip together and took videos of it. So they definitely seem like they're still a couple. Then
Some sort of social media influencer trip.
some sort of social media influencer trip, very possible.
Wow, I love influencing on social media.
I love getting paid.
Then they talk to Dean and Leslie, and he makes like he's about to propose to her, gets on one knee, opens a little box, and he's like, would you like a key to my apartment?
Oh, they're moving in together.
So they are moving in together.
Though I don't. Is that moving in or just like allowing her to pop in whenever she
I
wants?
guess that's a good question.
I don't think
Unclear.
that's moving in together. I think that's a separate thing.
Oh.
Also,
That
they
is
might
a-
be breaking up after the reunion. Who knows? And then they talk to Stassi and Luke, who are no longer together. And apparently, Luke was in it for the wrong reasons.
Uh-oh.
Because he just
What?
stopped talking to her as soon as the show was done. And there was definitely references to, you can't come on Bachelor Winter Games just to boost your Instagram numbers.
Oh, snap.
That's what everyone was there for, though.
And Luke definitely got booed by the crowd at the reunion. So
Sucker.
He's been ostracized
So
from Bachelor
they said
Nation.
that, and he was actually at the show.
they brought him out, and he and Stassi had a talk that was very unfriendly and tense. And I also learned Stassi, who was representing Team Sweden, is actually Russian. So that made her like they made her like skate around with a Swedish flag at the end, and I'm like, oh, that was kind of weird.
Huh.
Is she like just of Russian descent?
I think she was just on the Swedish.
She was on the Swedish Bachelorette, so that's what
She's
determines
representing
your Bachelor Nation
the Swedish
eligibility.
Bachelorette, not the country that you're from.
Right. So it's unclear what her ties to Sweden were outside of the Bachelor
that
Nation.
does feel
but
weird though.
She might live there now.
It's possible.
No, she
Anything's
lives
possible.
in LA now.
She might be in LA now. And
It's
then
the Bachelor Winter Games contestant from Russia.
there was no official contestant from Russia. And then they're like, Chris Harrison's like, now we'll bring out the mystery couple who found love after the Winter Games.
So were they in it for the right reasons?
This mystery
Because
couple.
they found love.
Oh,
What do you think?
it's gonna be.
It's definitely Yuki.
It's gonna be Yuki, who definitely never had a chance.
It's not Yuki.
Oh.
Yuki's at the reunion and got the loudest cheers from the crowd at the
Okay.
reunion. And Yuki seems very happy with life. And Chris Harrison talks Japanese to her, and he definitely was practicing that a whole bunch before the thing. But yeah, so the mystery couple is, so remember Benoit, who
Yeah.
was the first one to quit because he loved Claire, and Claire wasn't sure she loved him, so he just had to quit. They're a couple. He texted her after Bachelor Winter Games, and they just started dating and talking. and he proposes to her at the end of the reunion.
Oh, God.
Is that so they can start the next Bachelor Winter Games with a wedding?
Yeah, are they really in it for the right reasons, or are they just playing to get their own spin-off show?
Jesus Christ.
We'll see. Chris Harrison thought it was all love.
It's impossible to know who's playing it for the right reasons, Rob.
This is just like the mall. We
Ugh.
don't know the people's true motivations.
Except they never reveal it.
We do know the true motivations. They're there to be on TV.
We gotta get those
not-
Insta numbers up.
They're not there to find love.
When are we gonna
100%.
gonna get the reality show about like who's the next top social media influencer reality show?
That's what they all are.
No, I know, but like all the challenges are about being a social media influencer specifically.
That would be very meta.
How do we get Noah on that show?
Yeah.
That would actually be a pretty good reality show, I think.
I
mean, they
would
tried to
not
do that
watch
when
it.
we watched that Celebrity
Like-
Apprentice.
Like
They were
here's how I set up my Instagram shots, my beauty products.
well, it was like they did that on Celebrity Apprentice too. It was like, how many people can you bring to this like pop up bakery?
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, they talked about Jonas and his all his followers.
They also did that in Cleveland Hustles.
Oh, that's right.
Deep cut.
Both of those shows, great shows that we both deeply loved, right,
I think those are
guys?
top third shows, guys. Right?
Wow, it seems
Why are you,
like a
why are you
really
trying to
great-
mislead our audience, Max? Those are pieces of garbage.
Hey, aren't we? I think we were going to discuss some of this in the what is it? The 50th or the anniversary show? I don't know.
Oh,
something like
James,
Rob.
it's don't give out the secrets. What's
that.
coming?
Oh,
up.
I don't know. It's already been recorded. Who knows?
I mean, that's fair. I mean,
Have we announced anything?
we have not announced. I said there was going to be a
Whoops.
surprise episode the next couple weeks, but surprise!
Oh, damn it! I definitely blew it up.
You did.
Oh, should
Is,
we edit it out?
Yeah, no.
Okay, hey guys, we're back.
Leave it in.
No, we're gonna do our season 2 finale where we give out awards to
The
season
shitty
2 shows, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, and so we can start afresh and have like a nice list of our top moments, some sort of Jonas moments, maybe. We're gonna,
Not that moment specifically. But
No, I feel like we gotta get that clip in that episode.
Oh, we're talking a big game, but clips now.
Yeah, we are.
This is
A
getting
whole
intense.
new level of production.
A new level of production for our show. So the only shout out I want to give is I watched The Punisher, the Marvel Netflix series.
How's it going?
It's very different from the other Marvel shows. It's like very much about violence and about guns in like today's society, which is a big conversation if you guys haven't noticed. So it's kind of poignant, but I thought it was actually quite good on like why he was violent and why he chooses to do what he does, and like just a good conversation piece around it. And I thought it's very different. It's more about war. It was very good, actually. It was much better than I was expecting because I tend to avoid war movies because they're very American propaganda-esque and they don't really represent, I think, the views that I tend to have. So it was very surprising to me that was good. So
Cool.
Anyone else got any shout-outs?
Yeah, I've got a couple. Real quick, I've been watching AP Bio, this new show starring Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's actually really good. It's like just like a little sitcom. I think it's on NBC. It's about 4 episodes in.
It's got the I've seen the first 2 episodes or
Yeah.
so, and like he just acts so bananas right from the beginning that I'm like, there's no way he's like working at this school for what he did like the first episode.
Yeah, I mean the premise is basically that like he's this former Harvard philosophy professor, and for some reason he's taking a year off. He got fired. The circumstances are a little bit mysterious. And he's teaching AP Bio at this high school, who's just really happy to have him because they can say that they have like a Harvard professor like teaching at their high school. So they basically,
What does it matter? That's
so
what I
they
don't
basically
understand.
they basically like accommodate his shenanigans because he's got this prestige.
Well, it
Yeah.
seems like it's a smaller town or something, and so like
But it's not like you can
They're
just
kinda
choose what school
boosted.
you go to. It's like you affecting
maybe
the
there's
housing
like, there's
prices.
like 2 schools, so there's like you can go to this school or school B, and school A's got the Harvard professor, so you want to send your kids there.
Who knows?
It's just
Maybe it's a private school.
The
But
premise
it's
just doesn't-
good. Patton Oswalt plays the principal, and he's kind of like a pushover guy that Dennis picks on. I can't not call him Dennis. He's just that's
Oh, yeah,
who he
it's
is.
definitely
I mean,
Dennis.
it is quite funny. I'm just the premise is not quite what I would want.
It's definitely really interesting.
I just love when he walks in the room every time and just goes, "All right, everybody, start shutting up now. Just start shutting up."
Start shutting up.
It's just hilarious, and like they're all
he
just
throws
quiet
that-
looking at him.
He throws that apple like
Oh,
every
yeah.
time he comes in too.
He walks in, throws an apple at the wall,
Yeah.
completely misses the trash can. It's great.
It's good. So that's really good. Also, new season of Atlanta just started. First episode was excellent. The first season was amazing. So
Is that streaming anywhere? I know first season's on Hulu.
I mean, FX apps. I guess if you have a cable off. I'm not sure where else it is though.
Throwing that piece of shit out the window yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Atlanta season 1. It's like a slice of life show,
Which I know is not your favorite.
Go in and expect slice of life. I think.
I was a big fan of season 1. Season 2, it's happening. So check it out.
See the new Lando Calrissian before the movie.
That's right.
I also saw Game Night.
How was that?
Which is the new Jason Bateman movie that came out last weekend.
Better
it's actually,
or worse than Ozark?
I mean, they're completely different. It's actually a really good comedy. Like, it's a comedy that doesn't get made that much anymore, where it's like a tight script. Everything like is tightly like funny. It's not like people on this like generic quest where we have, stand-up comedians come up with, random funny lines that, don't really push the plot forward, and just like it's kind of funny, but overall, taken as a whole, it's not quite as funny.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Jason Bateman is great in this movie. The female lead is also great in this movie. I would highly recommend seeing it. And maybe not in the theater. You don't really need to see it in the theater, but when it comes out, I would recommend it.
Yeah.
All right. So you can next week is
We're not going to discuss Stargate Atlantis.
Stargate Atlantis.
I don't know what the what season was that? It was just a random
Season
Stargate
1,
Atlantis
episode
in
1.
Max's DVD player. It's
Oh
before
my
the pod. We were
God.
warming
That's
up a little.
some inside baseball there.
And
we watched a
jeez.
half hour of Stargate
I have
Atlantis,
no idea
which
what's
was
going on.
incomprehensible.
Yeah, I have
We
no
had
idea what
no
I was
idea what was
watching.
going on.
Especially if you've never consumed any previous
I've
Stargate
seen
properties.
I've seen Stargate the movie and a bunch of SU1, and I still had no idea what's
It's not a
going
good
on.
first episode. I don't think it's a good show.
Incomprehensible.
I don't like that show.
Yeah.
Why do you have a DVD of it?
It is my old roommates, and I haven't opened my Xbox 360 disc drive in at least a year and a half.
Oh,
There you go.
There you go, ripping on Stargate Atlantis because I don't know what they made. But
What is
who
that
knows?
show?
Tell
All
us.
right.
Somebody tell us.
Who put that on?
Sorry, putting everyone on the spot. What is next week's throwback month?
I don't know if we've decided.
We haven't decided, but you did announce one last week, so we might have to go with that one.
What
I,
did you know?
I did say Cribs.
You did say
man.
Cribs.
Cribs or Pimp My Ride?
At some point,
Should we get a Twitter poll going?
we could do a crib. We could do an MTV Power Hour.
Cribs, Pimp My Ride, or Joe
I feel
Schmo
like we
Show.
got to
I
do
feel
at
those are
least
the-
2 episodes of each of those. At least Cribs, because Cribs is half hour, right?
Yeah, Cribs is pretty short.
I don't know if
They do.
Pimp My Ride is
they
also
do,
a 30-minute show.
They do 2 cribs per episode, though.
Okay,
So-
maybe we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So, send us your favorite episode of Cribs and Pimp My Ride. We would put those in the queue, maybe.
Or also just send us your favorite throwback shows in general.
That's true.
Consider 'em.
And I guess, spoilers, 2 weeks from now, episode 50
The 5-0.
will be the finale.
Season
Whoa,
2
whoa.
finale.
All right. You can hit us on Facebook.com/WhoBidThisOn. You can find us on Twitter at WhoBidThisOn. You can email us questions and suggestions at WhoBidThisOn@gmail.com. Please rate us on iTunes. We'll see you guys next time.
Mole, 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 mole.
Peace out.